Hey, what's going on everyone? My name is Cole Kakamus and welcome back to the channel. Like many of us out there, I just started the new school year and I'm on a little trend now making these kind of like student videos. Last week I just reviewed a backpack, which may sound boring at first, but I think it's pretty cool. But now talking about today's video, I wanted to do a kind of review slash overview of my workflow and experiences using the M1 iPad Pro as a college student and whether or not I recommend that you pick it up. The combo with the iPad and the Magic Keyboard alongside the Apple Pencil has been an awesome experience so far in school, but overall just in general the past few months that I've been using them. For some context, I'm currently a freshman at college studying computer science. Now, I kind of wanted to make a video specifically talking about my experience with the iPad as a CS student, but I'm not really far enough into the major yet, so for now, stay tuned. For a quick rundown of the iPad setup, I'll briefly mention each piece, and then throughout the video kind of touch upon them in more detail and about how I use them. First off is the iPad itself. It's the 11-inch silver model with 512 gigabytes of storage. I pre-ordered it right at launch, and so I've had a lot of time to get to know it. Alongside that, I've been using the new white Magic Keyboard case and the Apple Pencil. Both of these two accessories have had an amazing effect on my productivity. I'm able to quickly jot down notes and other thoughts, not only for school, but for videos like this one. Now, I do want to mention that I still use my 13-inch MacBook Pro for my work, as I still view the iPad as a sort of supplemental device to my entire creative workflow. But the majority of my school work is done on the iPad. So obviously, with the M1 chip powering the iPad Pro, it makes it an insanely powerful device. It may be overkill for a lot of people, but if you plan to tackle more power-hungry tasks, it'll serve well. I added a lot of photos in Lightroom and Photoshop, so the chip allows me to quickly touch on my Instagram shots in great detail. If you ever want to play a quick game between class, it's more than powerful enough to provide fantastic graphics and a smooth experience. It can handle pretty much anything you throw at it, and you get the plus that it's going to be future-proof. While the 11-inch model I use doesn't have the new mini LED XDR display, it still looks really good. It has a P3 color gamut, which basically means that the colors are going to be really accurate. This is especially good for anyone doing any sort of creative work, whether that be photo editing or designing in something like Procreate. The screen itself gets pretty bright, reaching up to 600 nits. It has anti-reflective coating, which doesn't work perfectly, but if you are sitting in direct sunlight, you're still going to be able to see. What I've loved the most, though, is the 120Hz ProMotion display, which just makes everything super buttery smooth. If you've never tried a high refresh rate screen, you probably won't understand the benefits of it, but once you try it, it's going to be so hard to go back. This is why I'm so excited to get my hands on the upcoming iPhone 13 Pro, review coming soon of course, because it's rumored to have the same ProMotion. Overall, everything on the iPad screen looks crystal clear, so whether you're watching a video, handwriting some notes, or just reading an ebook, it's a fantastic experience. This device is sporting 4 studio speakers, so it provides a really good sound. I do normally wear my AirPods when I use it, but it is still nice to have when I'm listening to music, watching a movie, or turning on a YouTube video. Man, this guy's good. I'm just kidding. This won't quite do it justice, but I'll play a quick clip of some music so you can kind of get an idea of what it sounds like. If you ever want to record audio on the iPad but you don't have an external one like this, the built-in ones are actually pretty good. This would be great if you wanted to record a lecture and you didn't want to bring a whole microphone setup into class, because when you go back to listen to it later, the audio is going to be really clear. So right now this is actually recording from the iPad itself. It sounds pretty good considering it's coming from a tablet. I think you can definitely get away with this if you're on a budget and just need a quick solution. Now, the Magic Keyboard has got to be one of my favorite things about using the iPad Pro. The floating design looks absolutely fantastic, and connecting it to the iPad is seamless. There's no wires or Bluetooth connection needed. You just slap it on the magnet and it instantly connects. Tapping on the keys feel great, and it gives just the right amount of feedback without producing a ton of noise that you're going to be annoying everyone sitting next to you. Now, it's obviously not on the level of something like a mechanical keyboard, but I still love it. And the trackpad on it is honestly such a good feature to have in iPadOS. At first, I thought I wasn't going to use it all that much, and then it was kind of gimmicky, but after having it for so long, I've learned to really enjoy the gesture controls because they allow for quick and smooth adjustments. One drawback of the whole keyboard, though, is that it's really hard to use in your lap because it's always just going to fall forward. Unlike a laptop, all the weight is in the screen, and the keyboard is light in comparison. This causes it just to be really uneven, and so when you're not on a completely flat surface, it falls like this. I'm not sure if it's any better on the 12.9-inch model, but it sucks because it makes any work not at a desk a lot more difficult. The Apple Pencil has been the perfect companion to my iPad plus keyboard setup. It has a very clean matte finish and feels great in the hand. It magnetically connects and charges at the top of the iPad, so it's always right there when you need it. But when you have the Magic Keyboard case on and closed, the pencil is in an awkward position, blocking where you would normally put your finger to open up the case, so it makes it a little difficult. Now, using the pencil even just to swipe around the home screen has been great. What's cool is the scribble feature converts handwritten text into typed, but I still prefer native Apple Pencil writing because a lot of times the conversion messes up and it'll just be completely off from what I meant to write. Using an app like Notability has been great to jot down some quick notes or write out math problems. I can use the multitasking features to have a problem on one side and a spot for work on the other. So far I've only used digital notes this year, and I honestly don't miss having physical ones. It's just really nice to have it all on one device, and with Notability, it syncs from my iPad to my MacBook, so I can work on both. I still do use a physical journal though because I just prefer writing in it. Feels a lot better, but for everything else, the iPad's awesome. Besides using it for notes, I also like to mock up UI designs, come up with thumbnail ideas, and just write down other general thoughts. I've been on the iPadOS 15 beta for a couple months now, and my favorite feature of it is Quick Note, which basically allows you just to swipe up from the bottom right corner of the iPad, and it'll bring up this little note that you can just write down literally anything, and it'll save to a special section in the notes. So whenever I get like a random idea that pops up in my head, I just swipe up, write it down real quick, and then go back to whatever I was doing. The cameras this thing is sporting are actually quite good for a tablet. This has been really nice for when I just want to take a quick shot of a slide in a lecture or a QR code, something like that. Even if I'm sitting really far back, I can open up the camera app and get a clear shot. Since I'll already have the iPad out taking notes, it's going to be in the right position, so as soon as I open up the camera app, I just go cha-ching. Yep, that's the sound a camera makes. I think I'm going to keep that in because it was just so stupid. The front camera allows for really quick Face ID, but it's honestly in such a bad spot because I always found myself covering the camera when I'm trying to open it. The new center stage feature has been pretty cool when I hop on a video call, making sure I'm always in frame. Essentially what it does is use the ultra-wide camera and then tracks your movements so that it always is cropped in on you. And with the ultra-wide lens, if I ever want to take a really wide selfie, I can do it. I've been very pleased when it comes to battery life. It can easily last up to 1 to 2 full days, and then charging back up is really quick. When it comes to portability, I think 11 inches is the perfect size for students. It's not quite the size of a laptop, so it can slip really easily into bags. Pairing it with a Magic Keyboard makes it a compelling option. Now, it's worth noting that there are some limitations if you choose to use iPadOS. For a lot of students, this won't be an issue, but it may be for others. A lot of the educational software you'll need to use will be web-based or have a dedicated iPad app, and those like Notability, GoodNotes, and others take advantage of the Apple Pencil, which makes note-taking easy. And there aren't any pro apps like Final Cut, and Photoshop is on there, but it's not the same as the full Mac version. File management also isn't the greatest on here. I'm a computer science major, so as I get further into my degree, I'll need a laptop to use an IDE to write code. Since I like to do a lot of web development on the side, VS Code is my code editor of choice, and it's not available on the iPad. Because of all I just mentioned, it makes the iPad hard to use as a daily driver. Looking at the price, the 11-inch model starts at $799 and the 12.9 at $1099. However, Apple does offer a student discount, so you can pick up the 11 at $749 and the 12.9 at $1,000. If you do decide to get a keyboard or pencil, both get a slight price reduction as well with the student discount. The pencil goes for $119, which is $10 cheaper, and the Magic Keyboard is $30 cheaper. Depending on what you get, it'll be $279 for the 11-inch version and then $329 for the 12.9-inch version. Man, I'm just realizing how much I spent on that. Also, depending on the storage option you choose, the iPad will be a little more expensive. I went with 512 thinking I'd be using a ton, and so far I'm only at 115. But I expect that over the following years I own it, it's going to fill up with other photos, apps, music, etc. Like I mentioned earlier, the M1 chip makes it very future-proof, so while it is a lot of money up front, I expect to use this thing for quite some time. So with all that said, I think that the iPad Pro is a fantastic device for techies and students alike. It's a more than capable device for 99% of people, but I do think it's worth checking out the iPad Pro if your workflow doesn't involve any super power hungry tasks, as you can pick it up for a couple $100s cheaper. The big reason I went with the Pro was for the review. No, I'm just kidding. But because I want to do photo editing and other creative sort of tasks. The Magic Keyboard has been the perfect companion to my iPad, seamlessly connecting via magnets, providing a beautiful design and a great typing experience. Paired alongside the Apple Pencil, it allows me to easily take notes and jot down ideas. Because the M1 chip is so powerful, I know that it's going to last me at least for the next 4 years. But then again, I am a tech reviewer, so who knows? Maybe I'll end up splurging on the new model next year. To all of you who've made it to this point in the video, I want to say thank you. I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed, you want to see more tech-related content in the very near future, be sure to drop a like and subscribe to the channel with bell notifications so you won't miss an upload. See you next time. Take care.